Speaker, and thank you to my friend and colleague from Utah for yielding. Mr. Speaker, today I'd like to rise to honor the life of a really good friend, Steve Stamson, who was a devoted public servant and a veteran whose record left a lasting mark on Shelby County in West Tennessee. Steve passed away just a few weeks ago on March the 11th, surrounded by his family in Florida. Steve Stamson was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and he lived a life grounded in faith and commitment to others. Steve served in the United States Marine Corps during Vietnam. He was a rifleman. Steve's time in uniform shaped his character in lasting ways and informed how he approached the rest of his life. I do want to note that during his military service, Steve received the Meritorious Mast, recognizing performance and leadership that went above and beyond. This distinction reflected the character and the standard that he held himself to each and every day. When he came home, Steve continued to serve his community. He worked for International Harvester before starting a long and distinguished career in Shelby County government. He served in the county court clerk's office. He served in the juvenile court clerk's office and in the general sessions court clerk's office. In 2002, the people of Shelby County elected him to be the juvenile court clerk, to which he was reelected in 2006, and he served until 2010. I think about Steve's time in public service, and if you had a dictionary and looked up the term public servant, there would be a photo of Steve Stamson right there in the dictionary. He went and did whatever he could for anybody, and it didn't matter who they were or what side of town they lived on. I will note that Steve's career in public service did not end after his time as juvenile court clerk. Following his retirement, if you will, Steve was appointed as an election commissioner for Shelby County, and he served as chairman of the Shelby County Election Commission. On all sides of the aisle, Steve was widely respected for his dedication to election integrity and the responsibility that comes with the right to vote. Steve also gave his time to civic and community organizations, including the Boy Scouts of America, the Scottish Rites, and the Alchemia Shriners. He was active in his political life in the local and state Republican Party. I do want to note that Steve took on roles that carried significant responsibility, and he always led with a steady hand. I think about Steve, he made time for others, and he was always willing to step up when it was needed. This morning, I talked to our mutual friend, Joy Tulliadis. Joy Tulliadis succeeded Steve as the juvenile court clerk of Shelby County. She was a longtime friend of Steve and his wife, Debbie, who was also a longtime public servant in Shelby County. When I asked Joy her thoughts about Steve, this is what, and I wrote it down word for word. She said, quote, "If you knew Steve, you knew his door was always open, his handshake was sincere, and his word actually meant something," close quote. Beyond his work, Steve was absolutely devoted to his family. I've got a photo of Steve and his wife, Debbie. They shared 45 years of marriage, and Debbie was his equal partner and his best friend. Steve was a proud father to Chris, and to Clay, and I know he was a prideful grandfather to Keeley and to Hunter. Mr. Speaker, I do want to say that Roberta and I are deeply saddened by Steve's passing, but we're thinking about Debbie. We remember all the good times and how full of life and how much Steve gave to everybody he cared about and to the entire Memphis and Shelby County community. Steve's warmth and his generosity will be greatly missed. And Mr. Speaker, with that, I'll yield back.